why you were placed in a narcissist's life, the truth will shock you. Have you ever found yourself lying awake replaying the past in your mind, asking the same question over and over again? Why did I meet them? Why did they come into my life? That person, the one who brought chaos and confusion, whose words twisted your reality and whose actions drained you, leaving you questioning your worth and your very perception of love. What if I told you that they were not sent to destroy you? What if, in fact, they were sent to awaken something in you? What if the narcissist, the one who made you feel powerless, wasn't some cruel twist of fate, but a karmic lesson designed to push you into a deeper understanding of yourself? You see, life has a strange way of presenting us with challenges, ones that often don't make sense at first. When you think of your encounter with a narcissist, you might remember the pain, the heartache, and the emotional manipulation. It may feel as though you were simply a victim of someone else's cruelty. But what if I told you that the chaos, the suffering, the constant confusion of dealing with a narcissist wasn't just a random act of fate? What if all of this was meant to lead you somewhere far greater into the depths of your own strength, your truth, and your spiritual awakening? What if everything you thought was an obstacle, every moment that seemed unbearable, was actually part of a greater plan to help you reconnect with who you truly are? The truth might shock you, but it will set you free. In this video, we're going to explore a radical perspective, a perspective that goes beyond the typical advice on how to deal with narcissists. This isn't just another get rid of a narcissist guide. This is a deep dive into ancient Buddhist and Zen teachings, revealing why you were placed in the life of a narcissist, and more importantly, why they were placed in yours. It's not just about healing from the damage. It's about awakening to the deeper spiritual truth hidden beneath the pain. What if the narcissist's presence in your life was not meant to break you, but to show you what you need to heal? What if they were a mirror reflecting the parts of yourself you had neglected, the wounds you had hidden, and the emotional baggage you hadn't yet addressed? It wasn't their love you were seeking. It was the love and awareness you needed to find for yourself. So let's go on a journey together to uncover the truth that this painful relationship was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you, to wake you up to the parts of you that had been in the shadows for far too long. Let's dive deep into why everything you experience with them is actually part of your spiritual growth, your healing, and your reclamation of power. The truth is closer than you think, and the clarity it will bring could change everything for you. Are you ready to understand how this challenging experience wasn't a punishment, but an invitation, a call to discover the most powerful version of yourself? Let's begin. 1. The narcissist as a mirror. What they reveal about you. At first, it's easy to view the narcissist as your enemy, someone who has come into your life to create chaos, to manipulate, to abuse, and to leave you questioning your very sense of reality. Their words twist your mind. Their actions leave scars on your heart, and all you feel is confusion and pain. It feels as though they have been placed in your life by some cruel twist of fate, sent to punish you for something you can't even explain. You wonder, why me? Why was this person brought into my world? And what did I do to deserve this kind of treatment? But what if I told you that the narcissist is not your enemy? What if I told you that they are in fact your mirror? This may sound counterintuitive, especially when you've been hurt so deeply, but bear with me. In Zen, and Buddhist teachings, we are constantly reminded that the world around us, our relationships, our circumstances, even our struggles, are all reflections of our inner world. What we encounter in life, especially the challenges, is not random. The people who enter our lives, the ones who hurt us, are not there by mistake. They reflect something about us, something within ourselves that we need to address, something that is still unresolved. The narcissist's presence in your life, as painful as it may be, is not a punishment. They are a mirror, a reflection of the parts of yourself that are still wounded, still seeking validation, still unsure of your own worth. It's through them that you are shown the shadow aspects of yourself, those parts you've been avoiding or suppressing for too long. They reveal the fears, the insecurities, and the limiting beliefs that are buried deep within you, often unnoticed, until someone like the narcissist mirrors them back to you in ways you can't ignore. Buddhism teaches us that we attract into our lives exactly what we need to confront. This means that the narcissist didn't just show up by chance. Their presence was orchestrated by the universe or karma as part of your spiritual journey. Karma isn't about punishment. It's about growth. You attract people and situations not because they're random or cruel, but because they're meant to wake you up to your truths. The truths about who you are, about what you believe you deserve, and about what you still need to heal. The narcissist, in all their manipulative and self-centered behaviors, is not just there to hurt you. They are here to show you where you need to grow. They're here to bring to the surface the unhealed wounds within you, whether it's your deep fear of abandonment, your relentless need for approval, or your inability to set healthy boundaries. Take a moment and think back to the narcissist in your life. What part of yourself did they bring into the light? Was it your unshakable need for external validation, constantly seeking reassurance from others? Was it your fear that you weren't enough, that you needed someone else's love or approval to feel whole? Or perhaps it was your desire to be loved at all costs, even if that love came at the expense of your dignity or peace of mind. The narcissist's actions, no matter how hurtful, are not the root cause of your pain. Instead, they are triggering the wounds you've been carrying with you, the ones that were already there, unhealed and unseen. They are showing you the parts of yourself that need healing, that need attention, and that need to be released in order for you to grow. Pause for reflection. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to relax into this moment. Now think about the narcissist in your life. Think about the times they hurt you, manipulated you, or left you doubting yourself. But instead of seeing them only as the perpetrator of your pain, try to view them as a mirror. What part of you did they bring to light? What fears or insecurities did they mirror back to you? Where did they trigger your deepest wounds? Was it the feeling of not being good enough? The belief that you weren't worthy of love unless you gave everything you had? The fear of being abandoned or rejected? The narcissist didn't create these feelings, they simply reflected them. And now, in this moment, you have the opportunity to acknowledge these feelings, to honor them, and to begin the process of healing. Let this reflection sink in, because in this moment, you begin the process of awakening. You begin to realize that the pain you've been experiencing isn't just a random act of cruelty. It's an invitation to look inward, to examine your beliefs about yourself, and to do the deep work necessary to heal and grow. Let's dive even deeper into this idea. You see, the narcissist is not just an isolated, toxic person in your life. They are a karmic mirror reflecting to you the parts of your own life and self-worth that have been left unchecked. It is said in Buddhism that what arises because conditions allowed it. This means that you consciously or unconsciously created the conditions for this relationship to manifest. You attracted them into your life to help you grow, not because you deserve suffering, but because the conditions were ripe for this lesson. You may be asking, why? Why would the universe bring this person into my life if it was meant to hurt me? The answer is simple. The universe doesn't work to punish it, works to awaken. The narcissist's actions may have caused you pain, but in that pain lies the opportunity for growth. They came into your life to teach you something fundamental about yourself. Your worth is not determined by others' opinions. Your love for yourself must come first. You may have spent so much time trying to please others to earn love and to validate your existence through their eyes. The narcissist, in their pursuit of control, manipulation, and self-interest, has shown you the limits of that approach. And now, you must realize that true healing comes not through others' approval, but through self-acceptance boundaries and inner peace. Take a moment and breathe deeply again. Let go of any judgment or frustration that you may have towards the narcissist. Their role in your life was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. You are not a victim of their actions. You are a student of your own healing. And it's in this moment, right here, that you begin to release the grip of the past and step into a new chapter of growth, peace, and self-empowerment. In Zen philosophy, there's a term called mere consciousness, the idea that everything in our life is a reflection of our inner state. The narcissist's behavior, as toxic and painful as it was, served as a mirror to your inner world. What they exposed, often through cruelty, was not just a reflection of their darkness, but a reflection of the inner turmoil you still carried. They are not your enemy. They are your teacher, your catalyst, your awakening. When you look at them through this lens, you stop seeing them as a source of suffering, and you begin to see them as an opportunity for growth. They came into your life to teach you how to set boundaries, how to stand up for yourself, and how to love yourself unconditionally. They pushed you to confront your own deepest fears, the ones you might have been ignoring for years. And now, it's time to acknowledge them, heal them, and release them. This is your chance to finally embrace the truth that you are enough, not because of someone else's love or approval, but because of the love you have for yourself. You don't need a narcissist or anyone else to validate your worth. You already are worthy. And in this moment, as you reflect on the lessons this person brought into your life, you are beginning to awaken to your true strength. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of that truth. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are whole. With this knowledge, you are now ready to step into your power, reclaim your sense of self, and heal the parts of you that have been waiting for your attention. 2. Karma and spiritual growth. What is the lesson? In the world of spiritual teachings, karma is often misunderstood. Many see it as a form of cosmic punishment, an invisible hand that reaches out to get even with you for past mistakes. We've all heard stories of karma as if it were a sort of retribution, some divine scoreboard keeping track of our wrongs, waiting for the right moment to make us pay. But in truth, karma is not about punishment. It's about clarity, a law of cause and effect, where each moment and every choice you make has the potential to bring about consequences. These consequences are not always punitive. They are often the universe's way of helping you face what you need to learn, heal, and evolve. The relationship with a narcissist that you're so deeply entangled in is not some random event that happened by chance. It is part of a much larger spiritual journey, one that has been unfolding for lifetimes. In Buddhist teachings, there's a saying, "What arises, arises because conditions allowed it." This means that the narcissist's entrance into your life was not a coincidence. It didn't happen by accident, nor was it simply meant to cause suffering. Instead, they appeared in your life to help you clear out the karmic baggage you've been carrying for far too long. They are a reflection of the inner conditions you have created, the unhealed wounds, the patterns of behavior that keep you stuck in the same cycle of emotional turmoil. The narcissist is not your punishment. They are a karmic condition, a powerful force that challenges you to face what you haven't wanted to face, to uproot what has been buried deep inside you for far too long. They are here to help you evolve, not by giving you more pain, but by forcing you to look within and face the things that have been keeping you small, fearful, and disconnected from your true self. They force you to wake up. Think of karma as a seed planted deep within your subconscious mind. You might not even realize it's there, but every action, every thought, every belief you hold is like water, sunlight, or fertilizer that causes this seed to grow. What you choose to believe, how you act, how you react to life, all of this shapes your karmic path. And the narcissist, in their toxicity, is part of the soil in which you're meant to grow. They are the condition that gives you the opportunity to confront the weeds in your mental and emotional garden, the old fears and self-doubts that you've been carrying for so long. Let's pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And with each exhale, allow yourself to become aware of the hidden seeds in your own life. What patterns do you keep repeating? What emotional baggage are you still holding on to, even if you don't realize it? Think of the narcissist not as an enemy, but as a mirror. They reflect the parts of you that are still in need of healing. They show you where you are still tied to old wounds, where you haven't yet broken free. In Buddhist terms, these are the karmic conditions that have kept you in a cycle, the very soil in which the seeds of your own suffering have taken root. Karma, in this sense, is not a cosmic retribution. It's a process of awakening. It's the universe's way of showing you where you still need to grow. It's an invitation to clear the debris of your past, face your fears, and awaken to your true self. The narcissist is not the cause of your suffering. They are a mirror to your inner world, a reflection of the things you need to heal. They are the cosmic wake-up call, the alarm that has been going off inside of you for a long time, asking you to pay attention to what's still unresolved. You see, we often attract people into our lives who reflect the unfinished business we carry. The narcissist might have appeared as a dazzling presence, charming you, convincing you that they could provide what you were lacking. But the truth is, their charm is nothing more than a distraction, a veil that hides the truth. They come into your life not to fill you, but to show you what's still empty within you. They highlight where you're still trying to seek validation outside of yourself, where you doubt your own worth, where your boundaries are weak, and where your emotional patterns are out of balance. In Buddhist philosophy, this idea of karma being a process of awakening aligns with the concept of impermanence, the understanding that nothing in life stays the same. Just as the seasons change, so too must we change. The narcissist's role in your life is part of the season of growth, a season that requires you to face what you've been hiding from. Whether it's your deepest fears, unresolved grief, or the destructive patterns you've carried with you for years. Think of the narcissist like a storm. In the chaos, the clouds are heavy, the winds howl, and everything feels out of control. But what happens after the storm? The air is clear. The earth is washed clean. The narcissist, in all their chaos and emotional turbulence, is the storm that clears the way for you to rebuild and emerge stronger. They shake you up, forcing you to confront what you've been avoiding. And when the storm is over, you'll find that your clarity and strength have grown from the very challenges they presented to you. Let's take another moment for reflection. Close your eyes. And this time, think about the narcissist's behavior. Reflect on the pain, the manipulation, the gaslighting. But instead of only seeing their actions as cruelty, ask yourself, what has this person revealed about me? What patterns of self-doubt, fear, or insecurity have they brought to the surface? What part of you still needs to be healed? Where have they forced you to look deeper into yourself, into your emotional wounds? Pause, breathe deeply, and let the answers come to you. Feel the awakening inside you as you begin to understand that this isn't about them, it's about you. The narcissist was sent into your life to teach you to heal yourself. They were the mirror you needed to face, the mirror that revealed the parts of you that were still in need of love, forgiveness, and understanding. Now let's talk about what happens when you face this truth. The narcissist's presence in your life wasn't meant to be a punishment. It was a call to action, a challenge to face the karmic conditions that have shaped your life. And as you begin to understand that the narcissist is merely the vehicle that brings these lessons to the surface, you begin to see the transformative power of this experience. The law of karma doesn't just punish, it reveals. It doesn't simply bring suffering, it offers clarity. And once you begin to see through the narcissist's actions, you will also begin to see the path to your own healing, your own awakening, and your own spiritual growth. In Buddhism, we often talk about the lotus flower that grows from the mud. The mud represents the pain, the suffering, and the challenges we face in life. The lotus, however, represents the awakening, the clarity, and the spiritual beauty that arises when we confront these challenges head-on. Your relationship with the narcissist is the mud. But you, like the lotus, are meant to rise above that mud, to find your true self, your true power, and your true worth, untouched by their manipulation. Now, as you begin to reflect on the role the narcissist played in your life, ask yourself this: what parts of myself have I been neglecting? What do I need to heal? These are the questions that will guide you to the awakening that is waiting for you just on the other side of this karmic experience. Remember, the narcissist didn't come to break you. They came to break through your illusions, to clear the way for you to find your true strength. Their presence in your life was not a random act. It was part of a greater spiritual process, one that's been unfolding for lifetimes. And as you move forward, you'll realize that everything that happened, the pain, the struggle, the confusion, was not a curse. It was the very medicine your soul needed to heal and awaken. If you're ready to step into your true power, to confront your karmic wounds, and to heal from this experience, take a deep breath and allow yourself to release. Let go of any fear, resentment, or pain. The storm is over. The lotus is rising. And you are ready to embrace your own healing journey. 3. Compassion. Without wisdom is a trap. In the tangled web of a relationship with a narcissist, it's easy to get caught in a cycle of giving, constantly offering your heart, your forgiveness, your love, and your understanding. You believe deep down that if you just love enough, if you give enough of yourself, their heart will soften and they will change. After all, isn't that what compassion is supposed to do? Heal, help, transform. But what happens when that love and compassion are continuously ignored, manipulated, and exploited? What happens when, despite your best efforts, your compassion doesn't heal, but instead drains you? This is where Zen and Buddhist teachings step in to offer a powerful, sobering truth. Compassion without wisdom is not a virtue, it's a trap. This truth can be difficult to accept, especially when you've spent so much of your time and energy trying to help someone who appears to need you. You may feel like the more you give, the more you love, the closer you'll get to healing the narcissist and in turn yourself. But the painful reality is that without wisdom, without a clear understanding of when and how to offer your compassion, your giving becomes a weapon. Not a weapon for healing, but a weapon for self-destruction. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on this. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about your relationship with the narcissist. How many times did you forgive them even when they didn't ask for it? How many times did you put their needs before your own, believing that if you just loved them a little more, they would love you back, or at the very least stop hurting you? It's easy to fall into the trap of giving and forgiving, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that love is limitless and that compassion can heal even the most broken soul. But here's the hard truth. Compassion without wisdom only leads to deeper wounds. The Buddha taught the principle of the middle path, which is the balance between heart and mind. This path is about wisdom, discernment, and understanding that compassion must be tempered with awareness. Without wisdom, compassion is like a blind offering, given without any understanding of when to give, who to give it to, and what the consequences might be. In relationships with narcissists, compassion without wisdom leads to emotional exhaustion. You give endlessly forgiving time, and again hoping that they will change, that they will see your worth, that they will treat you with the same care and kindness that you give them. But you cannot heal someone else by depleting yourself. When you give compassion without wisdom, it's not healing. It's sacrificing yourself for someone who may never value or appreciate what you offer. Let's take a moment to feel into this truth. Close your eyes again and take a slow, deep breath. Think of the times when you forgave the narcissist. Reflect on the emotional toll it took on you. Did you feel drained afterward? Did you feel like you were giving so much of yourself, yet receiving nothing in return? Let that feeling wash over you. Acknowledge the ways you've given without receiving, and the toll it has taken. In that moment, realize that the lesson here isn't about more giving. It's about protecting yourself and understanding when enough is enough. Now let's dive deeper into the wisdom that Zen teaches us about compassion. In Buddhism, compassion is regarded as a noble virtue, but it must come with discernment. Compassion without wisdom isn't kindness, it's blindness. Think about it: when you give blindly, without boundaries, you open yourself up to manipulation. You open yourself up to being drained, and eventually you lose sight of your own needs, your own worth, and your own sense of self. This is the trap. When you fail to set boundaries, you allow the narcissist to continually take from you while offering little in return. The more you give, the more they demand. You might feel as though you're doing the right thing, that you're being a good person by continuing to forgive, to love, and to be kind. But without wisdom, this endless giving can be a form of self-betrayal. You are betraying yourself by allowing your emotional needs, your peace, and your boundaries to be trampled in the name of compassion. Buddhism teaches us that true compassion comes from a place of balance, the balance between heart and mind. It's not about endlessly giving, hoping that the other person will change. True compassion comes from understanding the limits of what you can offer. It comes from recognizing that compassion doesn't mean abandoning yourself. It means giving wisely, knowing when to offer love and when to protect your own heart. It's about understanding that sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for another person is to step away, to detach. Because staying and giving endlessly only enables their dysfunction. The trap of endless giving. When you stay in a narcissistic relationship, hoping that love will transform the other person, you're not just giving love. You're giving permission for the narcissist to keep taking from you. You're allowing them to consume your energy, to deplete your sense of self-worth, and to use your emotional generosity as a tool to control and manipulate you. This is a lesson many people don't want to hear. Compassion without wisdom is not noble, it's harmful. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And you can't heal someone who isn't willing to heal themselves. When you give without wisdom, you're enabling them to stay in their toxic behavior. You're accepting their manipulation, and in doing so, you're sacrificing yourself for a cause that will never be fulfilled. But there's another side to this lesson. Self-love is the antidote to this cycle. True compassion starts with you, with recognizing that your well-being matters. It's about understanding where compassion ends and self-betrayal begins. You must learn to protect your emotional energy, to set clear boundaries, and to walk away when love and compassion are no longer healthy for you. Consider the story of Sophia, a woman who spent years in a relationship with a narcissist. She gave endlessly her love, her time, her energy. Every time he manipulated her, every time he gaslighted her, she forgave him, believing that love would change him. She thought that if she just loved harder, if she showed him how much she cared, he would see her worth. But the more she gave, the more he took, and the emptier she felt. It wasn't until Sophia reached a breaking point, feeling emotionally drained and lost, that she finally understood the truth. Her compassion had been misdirected. She had been giving to him endlessly, but in doing so, she had neglected her own needs, her own boundaries, and her own sense of self-worth. It was only when she decided to walk away from the relationship, to protect her heart, and to reclaim her energy that she began to heal. She realized that true compassion doesn't mean endless sacrifice. It means giving with discernment, knowing when to walk away for the sake of your own emotional and spiritual health. So what does true compassion look like when it's paired with wisdom? It's the balance between your heart and your mind. Compassion doesn't mean constantly giving of yourself at the expense of your own peace. It means loving without attachment, without the need for approval, without the expectation that the other person will change. It's about holding space for others, but not at the cost of your own well-being. True compassion also means protecting your own heart. It means recognizing that you can love someone from a distance, but you can't change them by sacrificing yourself. You must learn when to step away, when to let go, and when to release the attachment to someone else's healing. And in doing so, you will find freedom. Freedom to love yourself without conditions. Freedom to protect your peace. And freedom to live a life where you are the priority. True compassion is about living in balance and harmony, where you give, but you also receive. Close your eyes once again and take a slow, deep breath. Ask yourself, what parts of my life have I been giving to endlessly? Is there someone in your life, whether it's the narcissist or another who is taking more than they're giving? Pause and allow yourself to recognize the compassion you've been offering. Is it draining you? Is it leaving you empty? Now ask yourself this: where do you need to draw the line? Where does compassion stop and self-betrayal begin? Feel the power of self-love as you allow yourself to set boundaries, to choose peace, and to walk away from the draining cycle of endless giving. You deserve to be loved, respected, and valued without sacrifice. Compassion is a beautiful gift, but it must be given with wisdom. Set your boundaries, love yourself first, and protect your peace. Only then will you experience the true power of compassion without self-sacrifice. 4. The final illusion. You were never meant to heal them. One of the deepest misconceptions we carry when we find ourselves in a relationship with a narcissist is the belief that our love and kindness will heal them. We convince ourselves that if we just love them enough, give them enough understanding, or show enough patience, we can change their toxic behavior. Perhaps we think that if we're kind enough, if we can just break through the walls of their manipulation, we will somehow help them evolve into the person we wish they could be. But this belief is one of the most powerful illusions we hold. Zen and Buddhist teachings reveal a much deeper truth. Transformation requires intention, not just exposure to light. Real transformation comes from within, from a willingness to change, from a conscious decision to heal. It is not something that can be forced or given by someone else, and certainly not by someone who cannot even see their own reflection. The narcissist didn't come into your life for you to fix them. You were never meant to heal them, no matter how badly you wanted to. They were placed in your life, not as someone to redeem, but as a mirror, a reflection of your own illusions. What do I mean by that? It's simple, yet profound. The narcissist mirrors your inner beliefs. They reflect the deep-seated fears, insecurities, and wounds that you carry inside. The idea that you are only worthy if you're chosen by someone, that your value is dependent on external validation, or that your worth is conditional upon someone else's love and approval. These are the illusions that the narcissist reflects back to you. They do not love you. They may say the words, they may offer promises, but their love is a shallow facade, an illusion crafted to manipulate and control. And yet, in the midst of their behavior, you may still find yourself clinging to the hope that you can fix them, that your love will be the key to transforming them into the person you long for them to be. This desire to heal them stems from deep wounds within yourself. Wounds that say, I am only worth something if I am loved, or I am only valuable if I am chosen. The narcissist shows up in your life to force you to confront these wounds, to shatter the illusion that someone else's love can complete you, or that you need their approval to be whole. You see, the illusion of self-worth that you have been carrying is what keeps you tethered to the narcissist. Your belief that your value is conditional, that your existence depends on how others perceive you, keeps you stuck in this cycle of self-doubt. You want to believe that you're worthy of love and respect, but that worth must come from within. The narcissist does not mirror your true value. Instead, they highlight your attachment to external validation. They feed off your need to prove your worthiness, and the more you try to prove yourself to them, the more they demand. The cycle never ends. Their love is not a reflection of your worth. It's a manipulation of your need to feel validated. A toxic game that keeps you chasing after an illusion. You weren't placed in their life to redeem them. They didn't come into your life to be your project, or to be the one you could fix with your compassion and care. The narcissist is here to show you where your love for yourself has been distorted, to expose the parts of you that still believe your worth depends on someone else's approval. Pause for reflection. Think about your relationship with the narcissist. What part of yourself did they highlight? Was it your deep fear of abandonment, your need for external validation, your inability to set boundaries? The narcissist may have exploited your vulnerabilities, but they also illuminated them. They mirrored the parts of you that are still learning to love yourself, the parts of you that are still dependent on others for validation. Now take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to reflect on this. What part of yourself do you need to heal? What illusions about love and self-worth have you been holding on to, believing that someone else's approval could make you feel complete? What is it that you need to release to step into your true self-worth? The path to healing and transformation lies in letting go of this illusion, the illusion that your worth is dependent on the narcissist's love, approval, or validation. The truth is, your worth is innate, unshakable, and not subject to the whims of someone else. Zen teaches that the path to enlightenment is one of self-realization, a process of stripping away the illusions that keep us bound to suffering. The narcissist is your teacher in this process, but not in the way you might have hoped. They didn't come to love you. They came to teach you to love yourself. They came to show you that you are already whole. You don't need anyone else's approval to be worthy of love and peace. This is a painful lesson, but one that is necessary for your spiritual growth. The Buddha teaches that suffering is not a punishment, it's an invitation to wake up. The narcissist is a wake-up call, a loud, jarring signal that says, wake up to your own worth. Wake up to the reality that you are enough as you are. You don't need anyone to complete you. You need only to complete yourself. There's a paradox here. True healing doesn't come from fixing someone else. It comes from healing yourself. When we are trapped in the illusion that we can change someone else, we lose sight of the most important truth of all, that we can only change ourselves. Healing isn't about transforming the narcissist. It's about transforming the way you see yourself. It's about breaking free from the illusion that your value is determined by anyone else's love or actions. Zen philosophy teaches us to embrace impermanence, the idea that nothing in this world stays the same forever. This includes our attachments to others, and especially our attachment to the narcissist. They are a fleeting part of your life's journey, not the permanent source of your happiness or self-worth. You cannot base your sense of worth on someone else's fleeting love or approval. True worth comes from within, and it's about time you embrace that. So what is the lesson here? The narcissist did not come into your life to break you. They came to shatter the illusion that your love and worth are dependent on someone else's recognition. You were never meant to heal them. You were meant to heal yourself, to break free from the need to please, to fix, or to earn love. Buddhism teaches that we are each our own source of healing. You are not broken, despite how the narcissist may have made you feel. You are whole, and the path to healing starts with recognizing that truth. The narcissist may have exposed your wounds, but they also showed you where you needed to heal. They forced you to look inward, to confront your illusions, and to embrace the truth you are enough as you are. Pause and reflect. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle in. You were never broken. You were just lost in an illusion that your worth depended on someone else's love. Now, you are waking up to the reality that your worth is innate. It is not something you need to earn. It is something you already have. The narcissist is not your enemy. They are your teacher. They came into your life not to break you, but to awaken you. They showed you where your illusions about love and self-worth were keeping you trapped, and now it's time for you to break free. You don't need to fix anyone else. You don't need anyone else's approval to feel whole. The journey to self-love begins with healing yourself, not someone else. The narcissist's role was to show you your own wounds. Your role now is to heal them, to let go of the illusion that your worth is conditional, and to embrace the truth that you are enough. Healing is a journey, and it starts with the realization that you are the only one who can complete yourself. You don't need anyone else's love to be worthy of peace, joy, or happiness. You are already worthy, and that is the truth that will set you free. 5. The power of silence. When to stop explaining, start living. There's an often overlooked, yet deeply powerful lesson in Zen silence. In the face of confusion, chaos, and manipulation, silence becomes not just a passive retreat, but an active weapon of revolution, a tool for reclaiming your power and finding your peace. If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know all too well the constant battle of trying to explain yourself. The narcissist draws you into a never-ending cycle of defending your actions, justifying your feelings, and convincing them of your worth. No matter how hard you try, it never seems to be enough. You pour your heart out, but your words are twisted, manipulated, and distorted. Your honesty becomes a weapon used against you, your vulnerability exploited, and your sense of self chipped away piece by piece. But what if I told you that silence is not weakness? What if I told you that the most powerful thing you could do in these moments was to stop explaining and start living, to stop trying to convince someone who will never understand, and instead embrace the freedom that comes with silence? Zen teaches us that silence is not surrender. It's a statement of power. It's a revolution of the soul. It's the moment when you finally stop seeking validation from external sources and realize that you are enough exactly as you are. In the presence of the narcissist's manipulations, silence becomes your refuge, your strength, your freedom. Why silence is your weapon? In the world of a narcissist, words become weapons. They use them to control, to manipulate, and to distort reality. Every conversation feels like a battle. Every argument, like a battlefield where the goal is not understanding or resolution, but domination. The narcissist wants to win. And in their world, winning means making you feel small, confused, and insecure. The more you try to explain, the more they twist your words and create confusion. They'll gaslight you, making you question your own reality, telling you that you're too sensitive or overreacting. They may even accuse you of things you didn't do, constantly shifting the blame back onto you. The more you try to defend yourself, the more they feed off your emotional energy. You might feel exhausted, drained, or even defeated because they never truly hear you. They don't want to understand you, they want to control you. In Zen philosophy, silence is a tool of non-resistance. It is not passive. It is not about giving up. It is about refusing to engage in the game. The narcissist thrives on your emotional reactions because they give them power. When you stop engaging in their attempts to provoke you, you take away their ability to control you. Silence says, "I do not need your approval." Silence says, "I am enough without your validation." It is a powerful statement that says, "I choose my peace over your chaos." When you stop explaining, defending, and justifying your existence, you stop giving the narcissist the energy they crave. You stop feeding their ego with your pain. Instead, you reclaim that energy for yourself. You become the master of your own emotional state, refusing to let anyone else control it. There is an emotional liberation in silence that is difficult to describe until you experience it. It is the freedom to stand tall in your own truth without the need for anyone else to validate it. For so long, you might have believed that your worth was tied to the approval and acceptance of others, especially the narcissist. You might have felt that if you could just explain yourself well enough, they would finally understand, finally see your value, finally love you the way you deserve. But here's the truth. No amount of explanation will ever be enough for someone who is unwilling to listen. The narcissist will never be satisfied with your explanations, no matter how articulate or heartfelt they are. The problem is not with your communication. The problem lies in their unwillingness to truly see you, to truly hear you. They don't want your truth, they want to control you. When you start practicing silence, you stop giving away your power to someone who doesn't respect it. You stop chasing their approval, and instead, you allow yourself to simply be unapologetically peacefully and confidently. You begin to realize that your worth is not contingent on anyone else's opinion of you. It is an inherent truth that lives within you, and silence is the key to accessing that truth. Let's pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment, and exhale slowly. As you breathe out, imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror. What do you see? Do you see someone who needs constant validation? Do you see someone who seeks approval from others to feel worthy? Or do you see someone who is whole, powerful, and enough just as they are? Breathe in deeply and allow that truth to settle into your heart. You are enough. Silence is more than just a refusal to speak. It is an act of revolution. In the face of narcissistic manipulation, your silence becomes a powerful weapon that shifts the dynamic of the relationship. It's an act of self-preservation, a boundary that you set to protect your emotional and mental well-being. By choosing not to engage in the narcissist's emotional manipulation, you break free from the cycle of dysfunction. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to stop defending yourself, to stop explaining your feelings, and instead simply live. You wouldn't need to prove anything. You wouldn't need to fight for your worth. You would simply exist in your own truth, unshaken by the narcissist's need for control. This doesn't mean you're giving up or surrendering. It means you are choosing peace. You are choosing your own well-being over the toxic games that the narcissist plays. Silence becomes your shield, a shield that deflects the emotional attacks and manipulations that have left you feeling drained and confused. Silence is not weakness. It is the ultimate form of strength. It requires a deep sense of self-awareness and inner peace. In a world that glorifies loud voices, constant explanations, and endless justifications, silence may seem like a radical act. But it is exactly this silence that allows you to reclaim your power, your peace, and your truth. When you remain silent in the face of narcissistic manipulation, you are sending a powerful message not just to them, but to yourself. You are saying, I do not need your approval. I do not need to explain myself to you. I am enough just as I am. That is an incredibly powerful statement, one that shakes the very foundation of the narcissist's control over you. By remaining silent, you allow the space for clarity to emerge. In the absence of noise, whether from the narcissist or your own mind, you can finally hear your own voice, your own inner truth. Silence is the space where your true power resides. And when you tap into that power, you can face any challenge with a calm and centered mind. Take the story of Lena, who spent years in a relationship with a narcissistic partner. She was constantly explaining her feelings, justifying her actions, and defending herself against accusations that she knew were untrue. She felt as though she was drowning in the need to prove herself, to be seen, to be heard. No matter how hard she tried, her partner twisted her words, manipulated her emotions, and left her questioning her own reality. One day, Lena decided that enough was enough. She stopped defending herself. She stopped explaining. She stopped fighting for the love and respect that were never truly given. She chose silence, not as a sign of surrender, but as a sign of power. By choosing silence, Lena was able to reclaim her energy, her peace, and her sense of self. The narcissist's words lost their power over her, and for the first time in years, Lena felt a sense of clarity and inner strength. When you choose silence, you are liberating yourself from the need for validation, from the constant emotional turmoil of explaining and justifying. Silence becomes your act of self-love, a boundary that protects your emotional and mental health. It allows you to disconnect from the narcissist's need for control and instead align with your true self, strong-centered and enough. In silence, you find freedom. In the absence of manipulation, you find clarity. In the stillness, you find peace. Take a moment to sit quietly, close your eyes, and think about how silence might change your relationship with the narcissist in your life. What would it feel like to stop explaining and just live in your truth? What would it feel like to let go of the need for their approval and instead choose your own peace? In this moment, allow yourself to embrace the power of silence. It is the ultimate act of self-preservation, the first step in reclaiming your personal power. You don't need anyone else's approval to be whole. You don't need anyone else's words to validate your existence. You are enough, silently, powerfully, and completely enough. 6. Awakening the paradox of pain. Life is full of paradoxes, and one of the most profound ones lies in the concept of pain as a gateway to enlightenment. At first glance, this might seem like an impossibility. How could something so deeply painful, so exhausting, so emotionally devastating be the very thing that opens the door to greater self-awareness, growth, and ultimately inner peace? How could suffering, something we instinctively seek to avoid, lead us to awakening? But in the wisdom of Buddhist teachings, this is not only true, it's a core principle. Suffering is not the end. It is the beginning. Imagine this. When you were in the depths of your relationship with the narcissist, every word they spoke felt like an attack on your reality. Every action left you questioning your worth. There was manipulation at every turn, and gaslighting that made you doubt your own mind. Each time you tried to explain yourself or stand up for your feelings, it was met with disbelief or denial, as though your very existence was being dismissed. This was not just uncomfortable. It felt like an emotional storm, unpredictable, overwhelming, and at times, unrelenting. It felt like a thunderstorm that would never clear, a torrent of confusion that kept you in its grip. It was as if the storm would never stop, and you couldn't find any safe ground. But in Buddhism, we are taught that the storm is not here to destroy us. The storm, though fierce and disorienting, is actually an essential part of our transformation. The storm represents the process of awakening, and just like the lotus flower that grows from the mud, it is in the mess, the chaos, and the pain that we begin to grow into our true selves. Without the mud, there is no lotus. Without the darkness, there is no light. As difficult as it was, that pain you endured in your relationship with the narcissist was not a punishment. It was the soil from which your true self began to emerge. This painful experience, though it felt overwhelming at the time, became the foundation for your spiritual growth, even if you couldn't see it clearly at that moment. When we experience pain, especially emotional pain caused by betrayal or manipulation, it often leads us to feel broken, defeated, or lost. We feel as though we've been torn apart and the pieces of our heart scattered. The narcissist, in their callousness, left us questioning everything we thought we knew about ourselves. In the depths of the pain, we feel as though we'll never be the same again, as if the damage is irreversible. But here's the paradox. Pain is not destruction, it's transformation. What you're actually experiencing in moments of suffering is the destruction of illusions. It's as though your heart and mind are being cleansed. All the false beliefs you've been holding on to, the stories you've been telling yourself about love, about your worth, about what you deserve, are being stripped away. And while that process may feel intensely painful, it is exactly what you need to uncover the truth of who you really are. The narcissist came into your life not to destroy you, but to break the illusions you held about love, worth, and self-sacrifice. They shattered the illusion that you are only worthy if you are loved by them. They pushed you to confront the false belief that your value is dependent on anyone else's approval, validation, or attention. Through their emotional cruelty, they forced you to see the places inside you where fear, self-doubt, and a lack of boundaries had taken root. The Buddha once said, "Suffering is not the end. It is the path to enlightenment." And so through the suffering you endured, you were led to the truth. You were led to awaken to the reality that you have been asleep to your own power, to your own worth, and to the love that you've been seeking outside of yourself. The pain, as overwhelming as it was, has given you the gift of awakening. The narcissist, in their toxicity, was not your enemy. They were your awakening. The person who caused the most pain has gifted you the greatest lesson: you were never broken. You were simply asleep, trapped in illusions about your worth, your need for approval, and your inability to set healthy boundaries. Now let's pause here. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And as you breathe out, allow your body to relax. Think about the moments when the narcissist's behavior triggered your deepest pain. Maybe it was the betrayal that shook your sense of trust, or the emotional abuse that left you feeling worthless. Notice how your body feels. Is there tightness in your chest, tension in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach? Now breathe into that pain. Don't push it away. Don't try to ignore it. Feel it. Allow yourself to experience it fully knowing that this pain, as painful as it is actually part of your awakening. It is the fire that is forging your spirit, the hammer that is shaping the diamond of who you are meant to be. The paradox of pain is that when embraced, it doesn't break you, it builds you. It clears away the debris of the past, the false stories you've told yourself, and the limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck. This process is necessary for your growth. It's through the suffering that you start to see the truth that you are stronger than you ever realized. You are braver than you thought possible. The pain is not just destruction. It is a clearing. It's the fire that burns away what no longer serves you, your fears, your doubts, and your false beliefs. And once that fire has passed, you will emerge not broken, but transformed, stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your true self. Buddhism teaches us that true enlightenment doesn't come through comfort or ease. It doesn't come through avoiding pain or running from hardship. Enlightenment comes through the fire of suffering, through facing our wounds, and through the awareness that rises from the most painful moments of our lives. You were never meant to remain in pain forever. You were meant to rise from it, to let the fire burn away the parts of yourself that were clinging to illusions. The pain you endured was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your awakening. In this process, you will come to realize that you were never broken. What you felt wasn't the destruction of your spirit. It was the shedding of old skin, the breaking down of illusions. You are stronger than you ever imagined. And the narcissist's presence, though painful, was the catalyst that pushed you toward this deeper understanding of yourself. Pause again. Close your eyes. Take another deep breath and allow yourself to feel the truth of what's unfolding. Think about the suffering you've endured, the pain that felt like it would never end. What if this pain is not here to break you? What if it is here to make you stronger, to awaken you to the truth of who you really are? Breathe in deeply and feel this truth settle within. You are not broken. You are awakening. The pain you've gone through is not here to punish you. It's here to teach you to embrace your power, to reclaim your worth, and to step into the fullness of your own truth. The narcissist was not sent to destroy you. They were sent to awaken you. In the paradox of pain lies the path to your freedom, strength, and self-realization. Embrace the pain, for it is the gateway to your awakening. You are not broken. You are being reborn. 7. Rebirth and liberation. You are the gold beneath the ashes. As you stand on the other side of the emotional storm, you may feel like a different person, like you've shed an old skin, leaving behind the confusion, the manipulation, and the pain. In many ways, you are a new person. But this rebirth is not a grand dramatic transformation. It is not the kind of change that happens overnight in a flash of light or with a single earth-shattering event. Instead, this rebirth is a quiet, profound shift, a deep inner transformation that takes place gradually in the spaces between your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. The narcissist did not come into your life to destroy you, as it may have felt at times. They came into your life to force you to confront the illusion of who you thought you were and who you believed yourself to be. They shook the very foundations of your reality, exposing the lie that you had been living the illusion that your worth was conditional, that your happiness could only be found in someone else's approval, and that love was something to be earned by sacrificing your own peace and well-being. Zen teachings often speak of rebirth as a process of spiritual awakening. In the Buddhist tradition, rebirth isn't about abandoning the person you were, but about redefining who you are. It's about embracing a new level of understanding, awareness, and clarity. Rebirth happens over time as you begin to peel away the layers of false beliefs and illusions that have held you back. It happens when you reclaim your truth, when you no longer allow external forces, especially the toxic behaviors of others, to define your worth or your happiness. This process of rebirth, of shedding old layers of confusion, isn't always comfortable, but it is necessary. It is about stepping into a new version of yourself, one that is empowered, whole, and free from the emotional manipulation that once controlled you. The narcissist's role in your life was to wake you up to the truth that you have always had the power to reclaim your life, your worth, and your peace. Like the mythical phoenix rising from the ashes, you now find yourself standing on solid ground, free from the suffocating weight of emotional manipulation. But this freedom is not simply an escape from the past. It is the reclaiming of your power. You were never truly powerless. The narcissist didn't have control over you. They simply showed you where you had given your power away. In their presence, you may have lost sight of your worth, but in walking away, you are finally rediscovering it. Let me share the story of Jane, a woman who spent years tangled in a toxic relationship with a narcissist. Jane believed that love meant sacrifice, that she needed to give up her happiness, her peace of mind, and even her self-respect to make the relationship work. She gave endlessly, loving without boundaries, hoping that if she just gave more of herself, he would eventually love her the way she had always dreamed. But no matter how much she gave, he took more. He demanded more. His love was always conditional, never fulfilling, and always leaving her emotionally drained. Finally, after years of emotional abuse, Jane reached a point where she could no longer ignore the toll it had taken on her. She walked away feeling like she was losing everything. She felt empty, broken, and as though her entire sense of self had been shattered. But in the months that followed, something incredible happened. Jane began to realize that she hadn't been broken at all. Through the pain, she uncovered the truth of who she really was. The narcissist had not destroyed her. They had exposed the illusions she had been living under. She had believed that love meant self-sacrifice, that her value was determined by someone else's approval. She had believed that her worth was dependent on the love of someone who never truly saw her for who she was. But when Jane allowed herself the space to heal, she didn't set out to fix what was broken. Instead, she began to rebuild her life by embracing her true worth and setting firm boundaries. She realized she didn't need anyone's validation to feel whole. She was whole already. The narcissist had not destroyed her. They had only exposed what she still needed to heal. This is your rebirth. It's not about becoming someone different or trying to turn into the person you think you should be. It's about returning to the truth of who you've always been, the complete, powerful, and whole version of yourself that you've been disconnected from for so long. The pain you endured in your relationship with the narcissist has served as a clearing. It has cleared the debris and the illusions that you've been carrying for so long. It has cleared the false beliefs about your worth, your boundaries, and your need for validation. It has cleared the fear and the self-doubt that kept you stuck in a pattern of seeking approval from others. And in that clearing, you are finally able to see the gold beneath the ashes of your past, a shining truth that was always within you, but was clouded by confusion and pain. You were never broken. You were never less than. You were simply lost in an illusion that someone else could define your worth. The narcissist was not sent into your life to break you. They were sent to show you where your illusions had taken root and where you needed to heal. And now, as you emerge from the ashes of that painful experience, you are finally ready to embrace the truth that has been waiting for you all along. You are enough. You always have been. Take a moment right now. Close your eyes and let yourself settle into the present moment. Feel the ground beneath you supporting you. Take a deep breath in, allowing the air to fill your lungs, and then exhale slowly, releasing any tension in your body. Now imagine yourself standing tall as though you've shed the weight of the past, the burdens, the confusion. Picture yourself stepping forward into a new chapter of your life, one where you finally embrace your worth, where you honor your boundaries, and where you live authentically. Feel the strength of your true self rising like a lotus emerging from the mud. The darkness of the past no longer defines you. You are now defined by who you choose to be, not by the narcissist's manipulation or rejection, but by your own truth. With every breath, you are stepping into the new version of yourself, the version that owns your power, claims your worth, and lives from your true essence. Now, as you step forward on this journey, remember that this rebirth is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It is the beginning of a life lived from a place of self-love and empowerment. The narcissist may have been a chapter in your life, but you are not defined by that chapter. You are defined by who you choose to be moving forward. Takeaway: you are not broken. You are reborn. The narcissist came into your life not to destroy you, but to awaken you to the truth of who you are. The pain you endured has only served to clear the path for you to walk forward with clarity, strength, and self-love. Embrace this new chapter, step into your power, and remember you are whole and enough always. As you walk away from the narcissist, carry this truth with you. You are not leaving them behind. You are leaving behind the illusions that once held you captive. The narcissist didn't come into your life to break you. No. They came to force you to see what was hidden beneath the surface, to awaken you to the truth of who you truly are. They were not here to destroy you. They were sent to help you realize that true love starts with yourself, that your self-worth is not determined by anyone else's words, actions, or approval, and that peace comes when you step into your own power. The journey with the narcissist may have been long and painful, but it has transformed you. It's not just about what you've endured, it's about what you've become because of it. You've learned that your light is not for them to dim, your peace is not for them to disrupt, and your strength is not for them to undermine. Every step, every painful moment, every betrayal has led you to this place of clarity where you finally understand that the power to change your life was always inside of you. Now, with your heart open and your boundaries strong, you are free. Free to step into the life you deserve, a life of peace, of love that comes from within, and of unshakable self-worth. No longer will you let anyone dictate your value. No longer will you surrender your peace for someone who would never cherish it. You are no longer trapped by the need for validation, by the pain of toxic relationships, or by the illusion that love requires suffering. You are free to live authentically, in alignment with your truth, and with the certainty that you are enough exactly as you are. The narcissist was never meant to destroy you. They were meant to wake you up. They were the catalyst for your awakening, the spark that ignited the fire of self-realization, the light, the lotus, the truth you've been seeking. It was always within you. You were never broken, even when it felt like the world was crumbling around you. You were simply in the process of rebirth. You have emerged from the ashes not as someone who has been shattered, but as someone who has found their true self, whole, powerful, and capable of creating the life you truly deserve. So walk forward now with confidence, with peace, and with the quiet power that comes from knowing your worth. The storm is past, and you remain untouched by the chaos. You are the sky, the endless, expansive sky, clear and serene, no longer bound by the storm. The journey wasn't easy, but it has made you stronger. It has made you whole. You are not the storm that has passed. You are the sky that remains untouched. Now go forward. Step into the light that you've always had inside of you and live the life you were always meant to live, peaceful, free, and full of boundless love for yourself.